If you've ever thought about getting into social media through TikTok or video, I have got the queen of real estate video on the podcast today, offering all of her best tips and tricks. It's Glennda Baker of Glennda Baker and Associates Real Estate of Coldwell Banker Realty in Atlanta. And she goes into some really interesting trends in the industry and also just her tips on producing excellent quality TikTok videos. So enjoy the podcast. Glennda, I am so excited to have you on the RealTrending podcast today. I watch your social media TikToks and Instagram all the time. So thanks for joining us.
Well, I'm excited to be here, Tracy, and I'm glad to know that somebody's watching what I put out there.
Oh, absolutely. So I know you've kind of tagged yourself as like the most recognized face and voice in real estate and the queen of real estate video. So how did video really transform, and really social media, transform your business? And when did you realize it was like a core engine and not like a side tool?
Well, technically, someone else coined me the most recognized face and voice in real estate video. I was being introduced onto a stage and somebody said that, and I was like, oh, that sounds good. And then somebody said, oh, you're the queen of real estate video. I'm like, oh, I like that. So I just kind of incorporated it all in. But you know, I started doing video back in 2016, and I did Glennda Live and I posted on YouTube, and it was terrible. And then in 2017, I did a series called Posts from the Porsche, where I would just do live Facebook videos. But it was really in 2020 when I got intentional about video and decided to hire somebody to do it. Like, that's not my lane of expertise. And really, that was a turning point for me, was hiring somebody and explaining to them like, hey, this is me. I can't read a script. I can't look at the camera. Can I just talk to you about real estate and you make it look good? And that was kind of how it all started. And I just, you know, the Dear Abby of real estate was really probably where I kind of found my comfort zone. And just being able to say the stuff that most people want to say that they just don't say.
Yeah, absolutely. So why don't you tell the audience a little bit about your business practice? Tell about your real estate practice, just so they could have a baseline of then what the social media really goes
Well, my name is Glennda Baker, and I'm a real estate agent in Atlanta, Georgia. And I've been selling real estate since Jesus was a baby. You know, September the 4th was 33 years.
Great.
And I have an all-female team here in Atlanta called the Diamond Squad.
Yep.
And we sell 75 to 125 houses a year. And we've done that for years and years and years and years. Elizabeth's been with me 25 years. Victoria's been with me 11. And Evelyn's been with me 9 years. So very established, very stable team. But, you know, we are not focused on transactions. We're not focused on average sales price. We are really focused on our client, who is really who are our people. And I think that is probably the biggest difference between me and most real estate agents. I don't have a product or a price range that I focus on. I focus on doing business with people I can help. And that's where I focus.
I love that. And I love the Diamond Squad. So you obviously, it's an all-female team. And, you know, what are some of we'll get kind of into the social media after, we'll go back to that. But I want to talk about some of the pillars or habits that have sustained a high performance for your team and also unity in your team.
So what has been able to sustain, number one, the longevity of the team, but the unity of the team is we are not competitive against each other. We are a unit that competes against others. And I think that that is one huge critical difference, because nobody's trying to one up anybody. We literally work as a team. If one person, you know, is covering something else, or one person has to go out of town, or one person is sick, we all jump in to help each other. And that really is kind of, I mean, we operate like a family. We operate like four sisters. And so for me, you know, I've had coaches tell me, oh, you've got to have a leaderboard. You've got to make it competitive to get the most out of them. And again, we're not focused on how many transactions. We are really focused on not only quality for the client, but the quality of our own lives. And so, what I do is I talk to them every morning. I talk to them every afternoon before they finish up their day. I don't want them taking things home to their family. If they've got some frustrations, I want them to be able to get that off of their chest with me and not walk in the door with it. And I think that that really has made the difference. And I think that it's contributed to the longevity and the unity of my team.
Yeah, that's great. And obviously teams are the way to go now too. So maybe you started one before that was the case, but yeah.
Do you know that I started my team in 2000 when I
Okay.
was when I was
Yeah.
pregnant with my son? I
Hmm.
started my team in 2000 because I knew I was going to be out. I was one of the first teams here in Atlanta.
Yeah. Well, and I have been writing about real estate since 1990. Don't say that too loud. So, um, so I remember, like writing first articles about the futures teams, and I still remember that. So I remember when Zillow came onto the scene, and there's just so many firsts that have happened. It's so interesting how the industry moves. But now I want to get back to social media because I think it's one of those things where it's been around for a while now, but a lot of agents just don't know how to use it and they feel behind, especially with like a TikTok. So what do you think are the first 3 moves they should make to get started on specifically, let's say TikTok or Reels?
So don't focus on virality and vanity. I see agents today trying to be funny or trying to be outrageous. I really caution against trying to be viral or posting to be, for vanity. I want you to bring value and visibility to your audience. Number one. Number two, understand who is your audience and what is it that they're looking for. If your audience is 20 something first time home buyers in Iowa, then posting all over your social media $50 million houses in Beverly Hills, it's probably just not going to connect. And I think that that's one thing that agents make a mistake on, is they don't really understand what is their audience biting into. And don't be afraid to be real. So many agents want to post to be perfect, and it's just not reality. I mean, I personally think that the public is tired of scripted reality. They are really looking for, the what happens when a septic tank needs to be cleaned out. I mean, I'm not walking around in my stilettos in some septic field. And I think that the audience wants to know, like, what happens when the shit hits the fan, like literally.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I know. Be authentic, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard for people because they feel like they have to perform when they're on social media, especially maybe Gen X. And so, I mean, it's really like one of those things where they grew up with social media, but well, later, but didn't really do much with it.
Well, and I think that the keeping up with the Joneses and outdoing everybody and being better than everybody else and showing off, really, kind of had a moment. And, I did a video that talks about houses over handbags. And that video has so much engagement. And the engagement on that video is that, that millennial. And so, and that Generation X. So I really think that they're underestimating what their audience wants to see.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So, the market has been a little challenging and also saturated. There are a lot of agents out there. So, how do you stand out? How do you get your brand to stand out? Not necessarily volume or transaction sides, but what is it that you do specifically to stand out?
Well, I'm consistent. more than anything. People wonder, like, how do you build the following that I've built? It was about being consistent. It was about being intentional. And it was about asking my audience, what is it that you want to know more about? I was never afraid to ask them, what is it that you're looking for? What information do you want in real estate? And a lot of times we think as agents, because it's second nature to us, earnest money deposits and due diligence and closing dates and how you find a house. And it's not that it's not common nature for everybody. And so I think that you've really taken kind of the novelty out of being a beginner because you're so used to it. And your audience really wants to know the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I've seen some, blooper reels where agents will talk, show them falling in pools and not set up falling in pools, but
I know.
actually falling in pools. And I love those because it just looks
Yeah.
real, right? It's funny. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but it's not over the top because it's actually something that happened, right? They're just
Oh,
showing
yeah.
their humanity.
Yeah, I was out in the snow at the beginning of this year in January, and we had snow here in Atlanta. I mean, like a lot of snow actually, and it was so funny because I fell in a hole in the front yard because I didn't see the hole because the snow was covering it. And it was, I mean, we laughed. I did like a snow angel on the lawn. I mean, it's those moments. And I mean, you think about the story that I posted today where the wildlife had nested in the exhaust fan
Yeah.
and the shit pellets start coming out of the exhaust fan in the bathroom. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't make this stuff up. And
Right.
I think that a lot of times you don't even post the best stuff because you're like, crawling into an attic, getting the
Mhm.
rat out to get it to close. I
Yeah.
mean, that is really what people are biting into. And that's where
Mhm.
they see your value. When you put just listed and just sold, you miss the best part. And that is the story. What's in between? You did once upon a time in the end, and you never gave them the meat in the middle.
Yeah, that's a great point. I love that. So can you walk us through a deal or a moment where your marketing or social media strategy turned a cold lead into a sale?
Well, I mean, think about it. If you look at Joe, who was 53 days from TikTok to closing, so he didn't know me from Adam's house cat. He had been watching videos. And that's also what people don't realize is you don't know that they're watching it. And so that's why it's so critical to be consistent because you never know what they're going to bite into. And Joe called me. He didn't know me from Adam's House Cat. He wasn't in a market that I sell a lot. He wasn't in a product that I sell a lot. And he wanted me to come and list his condo in the Atlantic down in Midtown Atlanta. And I went down there, sat down with him, and I asked him, I said, what was it that triggered you to call me? And he said, well, he goes, I figured if you can sell the wrong house and make it okay, you must be a damn good real estate agent. And he said, and then I loved the story where you told about the man who you asked him how much his house was. He told you he didn't know. Then when you told him a number he didn't like, he threw you out. And he said, I figured, if you could stand up to people like that, you could get just about anything done. And I think that as real estate agents, we want to post all the success and you miss posting the struggle. Because when you post something, oh, I sold it in 4 days, 40,000 over the list price with 4 offers, you've diminished your value. You haven't shown what you did to get that price, to get that result. And that's where, for me, like Joe, or like even like Kevin and Jeff, they had worked with the same agent on 4 transactions. And they abandoned that agent because they had become fans and followers and disciples of Glennda. And they sold 2 houses and bought one. And it really, it really hit to me that I took somebody who did not know me. I was unknown to them. And
Mhm.
now I'm unforgettable.
I love that. So how do what's your system for posting, like deciding on strategy, number of posts, when to post them, consistency? What do you use? How do you do it? Tell me a little bit about your process.
So it is all manual. So there are very few scheduled posts. I post in the morning. If I don't post by 9 o'clock, the likelihood that it's going to get done is slim to none because I'm into my day. I'm going 90 to nothing and it's just not going to get done. So I try and post every single morning between 7:30 and 8:30. And I post a video, and used to I would post a different video here and a different video there. And then I realized, wait a minute, these are two completely different audiences. I post the same video on TikTok and on Instagram. I already have my caption that I have an idea. I have an ideas sheet, and that has my caption on it. And we cut and paste and post it into Instagram based on how I'm feeling and based on what's relevant. The reels and the things that are I say scheduled, they're not automatically scheduled, but the things that go out every single day, those are typically evergreen advice columns. And then today I did a live video because I wanted to talk about the suit with Zillow, but I also wanted to talk about distraction. We're all looking over here, watching what's going on, while over here you have Rocket and Redfin and Mr. Cooper making a big move that nobody's really talking about. And so what I want agents to understand, and I give advice for buyers, sellers, investors, and agents. What I want agents to understand is don't be distracted by what you should be devoted to. And what you should be devoted to is your client and your business. And being consistent on social media, where whether it's reels that are evergreen, lives that are in the moment, or stories that are the good, bad, and ugly, you need to post something at a regular cadence. And don't make it so difficult. When I started, I did it twice a week. And then I worked up to 3 times a week and then 5 times a week. And I post from 5 to 7 times. I post 5 to 7 reels a week, but I post about 40 to 60 stories a week.
Okay. Yeah. And I mean, I do think there's so much in real estate that you can get distracted so easily. I mean, there's
Yeah.
case after case. And of course, what you're part of is the Anywhere Compass merger, which everyone is talking about. And I mean, I think people get too wrapped up in the details about those things that might or might not affect them depending, and or they worry too much about what might happen rather than just focusing on the business in front of them.
So true. And today I was talking about, you know, we are in an era of distraction and disruption in
Yeah.
the real estate industry, period.
Mm-hmm.
And there's never been a more important time to build your personal brand and your personal presence. And there is no better way to do that than social media, because you become the mayor of your town. You become the news. You become the commentary of real estate in your community. And what makes me so worked up with agents is an agent who sucks, that's not nearly as good as you, that doesn't have your experience, is posting videos that are absolutely irrelevant, and they're getting the business that you should be getting. And that's what I want. Like, people say, wait a minute, I don't want that person to get my business.
Yeah.
I want you to get serious about social media.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you first started with social media, what were some of the challenges, or do you have any stories of challenges that you've overcome or lessons learned through the process as you've moved forward?
Well, I will have to say the challenge, I thought that everybody that followed me was my friend, was my fan. And that became glaringly apparent when I would post something that was not of the popular opinion of real estate agents or the real estate community. Or I made a video about how millennials were indecisive. And those millennials, they came after me and said, it's not that we're indecisive. We have more student debt. We have lower wages. We have inflation. And so I really kind of had to come out, because I didn't think about that, because I'm not a millennial. So I'm never against controversy, and I never ever let it. At first, it was very difficult for me to handle. And I remember I did a post about a real estate company, and it was very unpopular in the real estate community. And agents came after me with the damn pitchfork. I mean, I thought I was in Salem at it, like a witch's thing. And it really showed me, number one, how loud my voice was. And number two, the impact that I have. But it also showed me that everybody wasn't my fan, and that everybody wasn't my friend, but that engagement, whether it's good or bad, feeds the algorithm. So, you got to have some thick skin, and hopefully I've gotten better at that. And I think though that you need to be with compassion. I think that really I'm here to inspire, impact, and inform people about real estate. And I want to do that by being real, relatable, relevant, and reliable. And everything that I post, I hope that comes through.
So I've seen, in the past several years, more and more real estate agents speaking out politically or religiously. Is there ever a right way to do that on social media?
I don't think so, because this is the thing. We're in sales, and 50%, especially politically, I mean, whether, and this is not political, whether you voted for the current president or not, enough people voted to get him into office, number one. So if you say something against a sitting president, you're automatically saying something against the X number of percent of people that voted for that person. And why put that into your commentary? You are here to sell real estate. You're here to help people with real estate. And I don't, for me personally, I don't see the need. And you're not going to convince anybody. That's the hello, like this is the light bulb moment. Like there isn't any post that I'm going to do that you're going to say, that Glennda Baker, she posted this on social media, and I'm definitely going to change my mind politically or religiously.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. As a salesperson, you want to be all things to all people, right? So you want to be as neutral as possible. And I really have been surprised at the number of agents who, either way, conservative, liberal, or even religious, who have really made that their whole identity going forward. And, I guess maybe in some cities, depending on the city you're in.
Well, and if that's your business model, praise the Lord and pass the money. For me, I am in sales, and I don't need to share your same political or religious view. And I work from a position of respect. Like whatever is your view, if I choose to work with you, I respect your view. We don't have to see eye to eye on everything. And that's how I run my life. And I don't allow anything negative into my space. I am super protective of my mental, emotional stability. And I don't want that type of stress in my life. I'm just too old. I don't have that many more years left. And so I literally, I pack my environment with positivity and happiness and joyful moments. And that's what I want to bring to my clients.
Oh, I completely agree with that. And in fact, I go running with a friend every morning, and we were just talking about that today, the mindset, because we have people in our lives who everything is negative, like nothing's ever right, those people, and how it becomes them. And that if they could just shift that just a little bit to the, to the positive, they would really see a whole different world.
Oh, yeah. And they want to bring you into their drama.
Yeah.
They want you to take part in it. And I just again, my life is too short. I don't like to be around people that are toxic. I don't like people that are dramatic. Like I am all sparkle and sunshine. And that is what I focus on. And I truly do believe what you focus on, what energy you put out into the world, that is what you get back. And, wherever I go in, somebody says to me, "Hey, Glenda, how you doing?" Or, "Hey, how are you doing today? Yesterday I was at the Apple store." I'm living the dream with you, Kayla.
Yep.
I mean, that's what I'm doing here. Like,
Yeah.
I'm getting a new iPhone, praise the Lord, and pass the technology.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I do agree with that. So let's talk about your approach to referrals and repeat business.
Ooh,
Because you get a lot of eyeballs online, so you probably get
yeah.
a lot of new business as well. How do you balance that? And what is your core niche? Do you work more referrals, or do you get a balance of new and referral business?
We do get a nice balance of both, but I will tell you, I never realized how all of it kind of came together until social media for me exploded. And so just as a little tidbit today, we're working with a client that's coming in on Friday. It was a referral from a past client. That referral, those people got 5 agents, and they did recon on their own before they ever contacted or selected an agent. I told my friend, I said, "They haven't called me." She was, "Oh, they're going to work with you." I'm like, "Well, I haven't talked to them." I thought they would have called me. No, they went online, they did their recon, they did their research through social media, chat GPT, and Google reviews, and decided to work with me without even talking to me. And so that was really interesting. But we do about 67% of my business is repeat and referral from past clients. But one thing that has happened with the videos is it's created this cult following of real estate agents. And so we have a referral that I just signed today, or my broker just signed today, and it's from an agent that's not with my brokerage, that has never ever met me before, but that is referring a client to me, a listing referral, and and they don't know me except for my videos. So it's not only buyers, sellers, and investors that are watching the videos, it's agents. And people said, "You don't want all those agents following you. They're going to copy you. You need to block them." And I mean, we did 42 agent to agent referrals last year. And it's not just coming in and out of Atlanta. Like, I referred a seller in Colorado and a buyer in Tennessee. So that the people who watched me in Colorado, a lady in San Antonio, Texas, she's like, "I have a house in San Antonio, Texas that I want to sell." Well, I don't sell in San Antonio, Texas.
Yeah.
No, but can you get me hooked up? Absolutely. All day, every day, and twice on Sunday.
Yeah. That's
So
amazing. Yeah.
yeah, so it's such an interesting layering effect, because
hmm
this is not your grandma's real estate. It's
hmm
not like a sign call, one contact and they call you, or
Yeah.
one postcard and they call you. They're looking for layering proof.
Yeah.
And nothing accelerates credibility faster than proof.
Yeah.
So they Google you. Don't kid yourself, they're Googling you.
hmm
They're chat GPTing you. They're then going to your website. They're then looking at your social media. And if they think that you can help them, then they will reach out to you. But there's nothing accelerates credibility faster than proof. And being able to have that on social media is literally like supercharging it. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. So 3 to 5 years down the road, what do how do you see kind of technology, social media, consumer behavior reshaping real estate practices? And what are some
Mm.
of the trends you're seeing that might become even more relevant going forward?
Well, probably the biggest trend that I see is the separation between the best real estate agents and the worst real estate agents. And I think that you are going to continue to see that gap get wider, because the best real estate agents will be the ones that do all the business, and everybody else will be at the bottom of the totem pole. And I think that you're going to see that not only get bigger, but get bigger faster than ever before. Number two, I think that if you are not embracing AI, you are going to very quickly miss the boat. Agents that think this is a fad or think this is going to go away or think that it doesn't apply to them and their business, they have lost their mind. And where I think that you can implement AI the best is systems, processes, and research. And I think that there's so much that you can do to it. I mean, we do a dossier on the house that we're going to list. We do a dossier on every house that we're going to show, and then turn it into a podcast that the buyer can listen to as they go from house 1 to house 2 to house 3 following us. So there's so much opportunity in the AI space to grow your business. But with social media, I think you're going to see more than ever where you have this answer engine optimization where you are answering questions, whether it's through video or through vlogging or blogging, that is really going to become this new way to search for the real estate agent that you're going to work with. And I really hope that agents will lean into that, and they'll lean into it early, no matter what is your choice. But answer engine optimization is just, it is insane if you will look at that and you will format your content that way.
Yeah, definitely. So now I just have lightning round. This is our lightning round. So
okay, let's go.
Favorite social media platform for real estate right now?
Instagram.
Morning routine must have.
Gratitude and prayer.
Okay. One marketing tool you can't live without.
I love Opus Clips. I love Big View. I love CapCut. I love Auto Reels. There are so many technology based things that you can use for social media that, I mean, do you realize you can take your link from Zillow, Realtor.com, and put it into ChatGPT, and it will literally make the carousel slides for you, pulling the pictures from there. It has never been easier to create content quickly. But like Big View, like it's a teleprompter, it's on your phone, it's easy peasy lemon squeezy. Opus Clips, you do long form video, it chops it up. So there's so many opportunities to create content on your phone.
Great. Last one, biggest pet peeve in the industry.
People that are disrespectful to our industry, who make a parody out of our industry, make a parody out of what we do, are disrespectful to the homes that they video. I am not here to be a comedian. I am not here for laughs. I don't need to talk off color or comedic about a home where someone has raised their children, lived their life. I think that we owe respect to our buyers and sellers and the properties that we represent. And I will tell you, if I could legally take those real estate agents out behind the building and slap them without getting arrested, I would do it.
Well, Glennda, we'll end on that note. So thanks so much for joining the RealTrending podcast. It was a pleasure having you on today.
Thank you, Tracy. I'm so appreciative that you guys spent some time with me today.